Thank you, Madam Chairperson. My friend who just spoke asked us where the plan is to reduce the debt and deficit, and if he's here, I'd be happy to yield to him, but I would ask him to consider these ideas. One, Medicare pays more than twice as much for a Coumadin pill that the Veterans Administration does, because we have a law that the majority supported that says that Medicare can't negotiate prescription drug prices. I favor repealing that law and saving at least $25 billion a year. I would ask my friend if he supports that, and I would yield if he'd like to answer.
Gentleman yields.
Does the gentleman support that idea?
Why didn't the gentleman do it when he was in the majority? And I'd be happy to yield back the balance of my time.
The gentleman, we did not do it.
Why is this not in Obamacare to fix everything else?
Reclaiming my time. We did not. Two Republican senators to support it on the other side. We would have done it over here. Second thing, does the gentleman support stopping the spending of $110 billion a year to occupy Iraq and Afghanistan, and instead spend that money here in the United States? Does the gentleman support that? I would ask him if he'd like to answer that question. I'll repeat it. That we're spending about $110 billion a year to help finance the government of Iraq and Afghanistan. I'd rather see that $110 billion a year to reduce our deficit. Would the gentleman support that?
Does the gentleman support the President's war in Libya?
I frankly do not, but reclaiming my time, I especially don't support paying the bills for Baghdad and Kabul that we could be using to reduce our deficit here at home. Third, we're going to spend at least $60 billion over the next 10 years to give tax breaks to oil companies that made record profits, $44 billion last year alone, as our constituents are paying over $4 a gallon at the pump. I support repealing those giveaways to the oil industry and putting that money toward the deficit. I don't see the gentleman anymore. I'm not sure how he stands on it, but we support that. 4, I support the idea that people who make more than $1 million a year might be asked to contribute just a little more in taxes to help reduce this deficit. Now, I know the other side's going to say, well, this will hurt the job creators in America. There's an echo in this chamber. In 1993, President Clinton proposed a modest increase on the highest earning Americans to help reduce the deficit. The former speaker at the time, Mr. Gingrich, he wasn't the speaker at the time, became the speaker, said this would cause the worst recession in American history. He was wrong. The gentleman who became the majority leader, Mr. Army, said that this was a recipe for economic collapse. He was wrong. When we followed the supply side trickle down the last 8 years under George W. Bush, the economy created 1 million net new jobs. But when we asked the wealthiest Americans to pay just a little more to reduce the deficit in the 90s, the economy created 23 million new jobs. So when they ask where's the plan, here's the plan. Don't abolish Medicare the way they plan to. Negotiate prescription drug prices, stop paying the bills for Iraq and Afghanistan, stop the giveaways to oil companies that make record profits, and ask the wealthiest in this country to pay just a bit more to reduce our deficit. Let's put that plan on the floor and reduce the deficit that way. I yield back.